Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Global News reports that Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is demanding an emergency debate in Parliament after Canada entered a technical recession, defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth. Statistics Canada announced a 0.1% annualized GDP decline in the first quarter of 2026, following a revised 1% decline in late 2025. Poilievre criticized Prime Minister Mark Carney, stating he is the only leader in the G7 to have taken your country into a recession despite promises of robust economic growth. Poilievre also dismissed external factors like U.S. tariffs and the Iran war as excuses, citing rising insolvencies, job losses, and increased food bank reliance as evidence of a collapsing economy. While some economists debate the severity of the recession, the data suggests interest rates will likely remain stable. From City News Everywhere, the federal government has launched a financial audit into the Office of the Commissioner of Indigenous Languages, OC, after receiving anonymous complaints. Established 5 years ago to support the revitalization of Indigenous languages, the arm's-length office is facing allegations of mismanagement and a toxic work environment. Sources, including former employees and an Ojibwe academic, claim the OCL has failed to advance its core mandate, instead prioritizing extensive travel and hosting a costly 4-day conference in Ottawa, which reportedly cost $10 million. A memorandum even advised scaling back the conference budget, noting it nearly consumed the office's entire annual operating budget. Concerns also include unresolved harassment claims and staff frustration leading to resignations. The OCIL acknowledged 3 bullying complaints last year, resulting in personnel changes and plans to hire an HR advisor. Commissioner Ronald Ignace's term is set to end in July, and he is committed to serving only 1 term. The audit comes amidst high expectations for the office to safeguard Canada's endangered Indigenous languages. Christine Nayler, who was 15 when her newborn daughter was taken from her in 1982, is leading a call for the Canadian federal government to issue a formal apology for its role in the historical practice of forced adoptions. Nayler's petition, which has garnered over 600 signatures from across Canada, was recently tabled in the House of Commons, requiring a government response within 45 days. The Canadian press reports that this systemic issue affected hundreds of thousands of unwed mothers between the 1940s and 1970s. Liberal MP Karina Gould and Senator Sansa Petitclerc are supporting the advocacy, emphasizing the need for closure and justice for these women and their children. Valerie Andrews, an advocate and author who also experienced forced adoption, highlights that only 2 Canadian religious institutions have formally apologized, urging the federal government to set a precedent. Other nations like Australia, Ireland, and Scotland have already issued apologies. Nayler, who was reunited with her daughter after 21 years, describes the lifelong trauma caused by the separation and seeks acknowledgement for the illegal and unethical human rights abuses suffered by unmarried mothers. The U.S. Pentagon under the Trump administration is aggressively pushing to integrate artificial intelligence into military operations. However, this drive is met with calls for caution and guardrails from some tech companies and even high-ranking military leaders. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth advocates for AI systems that can fight wars without ideological constraints, leading to disputes with companies like Anthropic, which expresses concerns about unchecked government use of its technology, including autonomous armed drones and mass surveillance. This led to Anthropic being labeled a supply chain risk by the Pentagon. Conversely, military figures such as ADM, Frank Bradley of U.S. Special Operations Command, emphasized the need for human confidence in AI's precise deployment of violence. Other leaders like Sergeant Maj Andrew Krogman and Melissa Johnson view AI primarily as a tool to reduce the cognitive workload on mundane tasks, enhancing operator judgment rather than replacing it. LT NeedGen Michael Conley also cited AI bots speeding up intelligence sharing during the Iran war. This complex dynamic, balancing rapid technological advancement with ethical considerations, is being closely monitored as reported by the Canadian press. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.